All right, what is up, Hand Tight Racing fam? And welcome back to the channel. We appreciate all the support we've had on the giveaway car. Stay tuned for the details on that. It is coming. We still have a lot of work to do on that car to get it to where we are comfortable giving it away. We want it to be a pretty much turnkey seat time shredder where you can just hop in, take it to the track, and get some laps out of it without having any issues. So we still got a lot of work to do on it, but the main thing was getting the engine done because it had a super serious rod knock. But details coming soon on how to win that car. Just stay tuned. That's all I can say until at least we're getting closer to being done with it. In today's video, we're going to pull the Mustang over here, the comp car, the S550, get it up on jack stands, get the wheels off, power wash it, and then we're gonna put it up on the lift, and we're going to swap the rear to 12 kg springs because I want a little bit softer. And Alex is pretty much gonna do everything. So Alex has got these units moved out of the way. Guess we'll get old girl. Oh man, she's in rough shape. Feels bad. Uh-oh. Oh, kill switch. I forgot I had one of those.
I was about to say, you carry your kill switch on?
All right. Before we get this thing started, I just want to give a huge shout out to all the companies who jumped on board with this program, including Ortiz Performance, Parker Performance, Sawbelt USA, and everybody else along the way. You guys can check out the Instagram descriptions and see everybody who jumped on board. But I want to give a special thanks to those guys before we get this thing rolling. All right, so we got the car jacked up in the air. Alex is working on getting the pressure washer set up. And we're just gonna go to town cleaning this thing. We threw a check engine light. Pretty sure it's because I have the IRMCs locked out. We'll figure that out if it comes back on. But look how filthy this thing is. It really needs a bath. It's pretty bad. Got all this stuff. Poor car. Needs an inside home. Give her an inside home, guys. Give her an inside home. Shout out to Brandon over there at Advanced Auto Parts. He hooked me up with this cleaner. I've never heard of it before. He said it's pretty good. We're gonna go ahead and give it a try and see how it does. So I'm just gonna spray pretty much everything all up in here because I don't really like working on dirty cars, to be honest with you, man. So we're just gonna get it all nice and lubed up. Some degreaser. And then let it marinate. right, it's not perfect, but it is a drift car, and it's better than it was, so that's really all we care about. Alex got the wheels pretty clean. BC Forge is on deck. Got the double adjustable ER series. All the FDF parts are clean. Looking pretty decent. Up here, angle kit, ER series, looking pretty decent. Looking pretty clean. I'd say we're almost ready to throw these wheels back on, throw her up on the lift, and then get them 12Ks in there. What do you say?
I'm thinking you're right. Remember, kids,
I kind of want
re-grease your Heims.
I kind of want some beer.
So let's go get beer.
Do you want beer?
I'll drink a beer.
What do you want to drink? What are we drinking today? What are you feeling?
Been a minute since I had a nice Mick Ultra.
I can go for some Mick Ultras. Let's do it. All right, guys. So we just got the car back on the ground after cleaning everything up. We're gonna pull it in, put it on the lift, and then get the changing out these rear springs, making sure our preload's set. And as my friend Stale Cracker would say, while we wait, we hydrate. Put that on a crack-a-doo. All right, guys, so we're gonna be changing these rear springs. First thing we're gonna do is we're going to unbolt both shocks so that nothing is holding the subframe and the control arm to the chassis anymore. And then we'll start taking off some of the subframe bolts. So now that we've gotten those two bolts out, as you can see there, sorry for the dirtiness, it's still dirty down in there. Look at all that rubber built up. We got those two bolts off. Now our spring is not preloaded at all. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put this thing up in the air a little more, then get a pull jack under it, and then start loosening the subframe so that we can get the springs out. We have gotten the springs in there before without pulling the subframe, but it puts a lot of stress on the rubber bushings that are in the control arm. If you got the lift, you may as well just droop the subframe. It's just much easier. And then we'll go ahead and show you how to set some separate spring and shock preload on an S550. It's pretty much the same for all cars. It's the same procedure. It just looks a little different on some cars. But we'll go ahead and get to that. Right now we're going to pick this thing up, get the pull jack under it, like I said. All right, so now we're going to pull these subframe bracings off.
I'll hook you up with a discount.
All right, so now since we got the subframe brackets loose, we're going to start taking the 4 main bolts that hold the subframe into the car. We're going to loosen just a little bit this side, and we're actually going to work on that side. We're going to droop that one completely. So these will use your OEM Ford spring seat isolators, and as you can see, they're kind of specific. So how this works is the control arm is shaped just like that. So you stick it in there and you'll rotate it until right there, and there's a raised part of the control arm. That's exactly how the spring sits, or the spring seat isolator, and then it locks into this basically. So you put this in and then turn it until boom, it hits right there. And that's where your spring is supposed to sit. That's how it's supposed to sit. All right, you can. So this spring is about 9.5 inches. In order to set our preload properly on it, we're gonna measure from the deepest part of the spring, which is exactly where you turned it into that rubber isolator. So from there to the flat part of the spring, if your preload is set properly, you should be around 9.25 inches after it's compressed, and that's only on this spring. The spring is 240 millimeters in length. You'll always want 7 to 10 millimeters or 1/4 inch to 3/8 of preload. So we got the back all buttoned up. These are like test springs, so I had to run the height adjuster to max low. When I originally told our overseas department that I wanted a not a longer spring but a softer 8, they're like, okay, well, we're gonna have to make it longer. Do you want a longer shock to compensate for that and give you a little more usable stroke? I said no, because I didn't want to change out the shocks, because these are ER series, so they're like $225 each. I mean, obviously I get my discounts being an employee, but I still didn't want to do that. I wanted to test it with the current shock. So I don't know if you can see, but I'm almost at max high on the shock, and I'm at max low on the height adjuster. So obviously we're gonna have to make a longer shock to make this. This is basically gonna be our like drift spec spring. So obviously I'm gonna have to make the shocks longer. I'll take some measurements and figure out exactly how much longer we're gonna need to make it. But yeah, this is gonna work fine for now, and it shouldn't lower the car all that much. Other than that, we're just draining the oil, getting ready for our private day on Sunday. Today's Friday. So we're just kind of chilling now. We're pretty much done. We nut and bolt check the front, put some 3-in-1 lube on the Heims. Probably gonna bring it down with the wheel still off, and work it through the steering motions so that the Heims get really good and lubricated. But their first coat is on there. Other than that, this thing should be ready to rip. We just got to put some oil in it, and then put the new oil filter on, and she should be good to go for a private day. We discovered these. My Type S lights have been literally shredded. They got pulled out. I'm guessing they hit on the ground somewhere, which I don't really understand how, but well, I guess there's some plastic there. Some plastic damage, but sorry guys. No lights. You ready to drift?
Am I ready to drift?
Yeah.
Always.
But I'm gonna let you drive this thing.
Okay.
Yo, where did that dent come from, bro? Yo, bro. Who did that? Who did it?
All right. Before we drop the car down to fill up oil and everything, we're gonna actually top off the diff real quick because it does leak slightly. So we're gonna top it off, make sure she's good to go for the private day, and then we'll drop the car down, fill up on oil.
So we don't blow the diff up.
And then we're gonna work the steering through, lock the lock a few times, re-grease the Heims, repeat the process until we're comfortable with it. But yeah, it's about all we've got left to do tonight.
Yep.
So
12 kg springs in, max squat ready to go. I don't really know how much of a difference it's gonna make, but
we'll find out.
Hopefully it'll feel a little more gripped up, and hopefully I didn't mess my alignment up too bad. Changing the springs and changing the height, because obviously that has an effect on it.
We'll figure it out. If anything, we can realign the car. Or attempt to.
Yeah?
We'll attempt to. We're great at eyeball alignments around here, counting threads.
Actually, literally everything on this car is eyeball alignment.
Everything on this car and everything on my car is all eyeball. So, and my car drives straight-ish.
But I'm not sure if that's tight
how
enough.
to drive straight.
Yeah,
I'd say that's high enough.
Listen, I don't want to have an Adam LZ.
Ooh.
I don't want to have an Adam LZ thing going on.
All right. So we got the fill plug out of the diff. You guys probably can't see it because the exhaust hanger's in the way. Clean this up a little bit. And then we're going to add some, what weight is this?
8095, I think, or something.
8090.
That's all they had in
little
Valvoline,
bit
and
of
I was just like, okay, sounds
High
good.
performance gear oil.
It's got the LSD additive in it too.
For the LSD that's no longer existent.
Precisely. I just hit my vape and it kind of tasted like gear oil. That's cool.
It's okay.
I just drained like maybe a quart out of it because I only bought a quart. I thought it was low. Alex pulled the drain plug and it was actually coming, or he pulled the fill plug and it was coming out of the fill hole. So I don't know what's up with that because there's diff fluid everywhere. It's obviously leaking out of the axles. I don't know what the deal with that is unless it was maybe tilted up when I filled it. Now that it's even, it's coming out, and that's maybe why it was leaking out of the, it was leaking out of the breather. So I just pulled a quart, I eyeballed what I thought was a quart, and we're just gonna fill it back up with the new fluid since I already got it. May as well get some freshy in there. Send her home. Oh, that's enough, that's enough. We'll just let her run out of there until she's done.
If you want to hand that to me,
I'm trying to get it not to drip.
Yeah.
No, I'll just plug that back up real quick.
Plug her up.
Yeah.
I done made a mess around these parts.
How much of that did it take?
It took about a quarter of it.
Only a quarter?
Yeah. See?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I didn't really let it drain that much.
No.
Whatever, we'll just keep that.
It didn't look too bad though.
What?
At least from what I saw.
Looked kind of jank to me.
Careful, this is probably gonna be a little slick over here for a little while. Woo.
Did you spray WD-40?
Nope.
Some smell like WD-40.
It's like gear oil.
They're just selling us WD-40.
All right. Diff's topped off.
Give her a little white down.
Uh-huh.
Give her a little white down. Make sure she's all clean.
Pro tip, clean things. If you think it's leaking, clean it really well. And whenever it does leak, you can see where it's coming from.
Well, this is clearly fucking leaking.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's actually... yeah, I guess it is. Because the vent tube's all the way on that side, so...
Yeah. And you can see the wetness on the axle right there, but that's probably from welding the diff and getting hot.
Possibly.
Fucking up the seal.
Yeah. She might get new seals one day. So yeah, engine oil, and then work the steering lock to lock, re-grease the Hines, and that's it for this one. Still got a little bit more to do, but
Nothing cool.
nothing really that cool.
This wasn't even really that cool, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but stuff that needed to be done.
Yeah, all right, guys, Alex is torquing down the lug nuts. I'm just gonna fill this thing up with oil. She takes 8 quarts, and then we'll pretty much be wrapping this thing up. Make sure you stay tuned and subscribe in order to get information on how to win that giveaway car. That is coming soon. We have some super big plans for it. What?
We're gonna have to change the channel name. We're torque spec racing now.
Oh shit, you're right. Yeah, stay tuned for information on how to win the giveaway car. We got some big plans for it. Some awesome companies hopping on board to help us with the build. So yeah, just subscribe and stay tuned. Keep watching, and we'll give you information on how to win that thing. Anything you want to say to the people?
I'm tired.
You're tired?
If y'all could just hurry up and make it to where I can quit my job.
That's a good one. So yeah, thanks for watching. Until next time, we'll have a video out not long after this one of us taking this thing for its private test day with the new springs that we put in the rear. I'm really digging the ride height. It's not even settled, and it's...
I honestly like it.
Oh man, that might rub, bro. Under squat, that's gonna be sick. Hopefully hopefully it gets some negative camber during squat. That's pretty close.
I call it self-clearance.
Yeah, I mean, it will self-clearance. We do have the HTR wide body for it, but I'm just not keen on widening the rear of my car. You lose some side bite with doing that, and I don't know if I want to do that. So yeah, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and stay tuned for that giveaway.